Hey guys, so I'm gonna be making this video. I'm gonna keep it quick. This is basically how to improve your chatting in 2025. I've been chatting for like 4 or 5 years. So I think it's time I make some content. I see a lot of stuff online. I know what works, I know what doesn't. There's different things that work for smaller accounts versus bigger accounts, more traffic and less traffic. Let's dive into a few things I wanna cover in this video. So here we have resources and chatters. When you're getting new chatters, or if you're doing the chatting yourself, this won't apply to you, but if you're getting chatters, you want to determine their typing speed and English level off the bat. Then a test can be made for common mistakes and objections that you normally see on the account or that you know are just very common, and see how they go about that. If you want to share a profile of one of your models to see if they can even replicate how they talk as well, that's good. You want to do this through a Google form. You want to add all the new hirees you're considering into a Discord server. Debating if I should show that. Maybe I'll give a glimpse. Okay, here you have your training phase where you could do one-on-one chats with them, team management, applications, people that just came in. You have your lobby, voice channels, training 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4. So we use Notion, and we have a bunch of stuff for them to go through before we actually do a meeting with them. So that's actually really important. And if they're not trying to go through all the hoops, then they really don't want to work for you, and you really want to get the best bang for your buck. So let's go through this. So this is just a document on how to make more money, and we could cover things like exclusivity and building value. We'll come back to this. So as far as building value goes, which I think is the most important, let's cover this section. So a lot of your chatters might not speak English the best. So if someone came on and was like, I want to see my dick, and you said, yes, I want, you showed no, this chatter is not for you. English is bad, grammar's bad, no tone control, right? When the chatters are talking to fans, you want to, as far as mindset goes, make them think that, if they were replying on Instagram, it needs to be with that sort of mentality. Like, you wouldn't be chasing guys on your Instagram, they would be chasing you. You often wouldn't see, like, if you message a girl, your crush, on Instagram, they probably won't answer. So even if we are answering, it's like dipping your toe in hot water, cold water. So if your model's a celebrity level woman, she's being watched not just by fans but family, peers, future sponsors. So when it goes to building value in 2025, you want to let the fan know that you don't just, even if it's the bare minimum, like taking a photo right now, you don't want them to know that that's just something you do. Like, don't just give it straight away. Make it seem like, that you shouldn't be taking this photo, or that even if it's like, okay, I have to make new content because I really don't have anything, so I'm going to take this picture just for you. That's where you build value. High value women who knows how to play the game, someone who knows how to make a man work a little. Guys like chasing. When you play a video game and you beat the video game, it's not fun anymore because there's nothing to get. It's similar here. So just keep that in mind. Let's cover this. So, okay, show me your dick. Now I'm curious. This is fine, but yeah, like I said, even the emojis, not realistic unless she uses them a lot on the social media. And up here, it's like if we're chasing them, you're not building respect for yourself and value, and that's pretty much what I'll say on value. Let's see what we had up here. So this is the ADC structure, and basically for A, whether it's a new sub or someone that you've spoken to in the past but isn't really active, you do the one-on-one chatting. These people do not get the mass messages. These people are, you don't know too much about them, so you want to ask, what they like doing for fun, what they like doing for work, different stuff like that. For B, the content narrative cycle, that's just the funnels in the same outfit where you're going like teaser all the way to the most explicit stuff she has in the same outfit, in the same setting. And then C, you have your just best content in general, whether that's more spontaneous stuff or just like, a JOI here or a sex tape or something, whatever they have. Why it's A, 1 through 10 is, say you have two fans. One is not that active but opens mass messages sometimes. The other one is active and you're doing, your regular day-to-day with them and making money, doing the content narrative cycles. Every fan, because you have it in your arsenal, should be sent the best stuff that you do have with a good caption that has worked before. Just to know that they seen the best you got, they didn't want that, okay, now they're like really not a spender, and they really don't have money. So this could be your best offers, be your best bundle, your best content, whatever you got. Let's move on over here. So here's the reality. Most mass caption lists do not get opening clicks. That's probably have a low conversion rate, but that's because they're spammed at scale to giant lists, not because they're clever. They don't work as well when you're building a loyal, high-value fan base that buys because of you, not generic thirst bait. So the reason you might see this sometimes is it's a giant account and you physically can't go to each individual person. Now there are tools out there that I will have the tool I use in the description. There's tools out there that let you, add a name to a fan and then mass message people by name. That's a big breakthrough. And as far as mass messages go, that's probably the best way to do that. And going back to the first letter A, the one-on-one chatting, this is where you get to add their name and ask that sort of stuff, especially if they come in without one. The real money comes when your captions feel like you're brain talking. That's where subs pay more, stay longer, and buy VIP. So if you feel like your mass messages are bad right now and they're not converting, it's probably because you're treating it like an OnlyFans instead of something like a Snapchat or a really heavily spammed Instagram story. You want to make it feel like they're talking to, a friend on the other side of the wall, but they can't, hear them. They can only talk to them via message. So like, hey, I just went on a walk, probably gonna head to the gym soon. What should I eat for dinner? Stuff like that, instead of want to see me get fucked in every hole, want to blah, 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 blah. Yeah. 80% of money will come from whales. So you can either use strategies for low-paying fans or high-paying fans, or you could put your high-paying fans in a collection and exclude them from all the low-spender activity on your account. Bring the fantasy to life. Relationships don't start with a sex tape even when they ask. Don't start with the best thing you have, even if they want only specific stuff. See what you can work out with them and, do on your own pace, right? You need to take control of the conversation. If this person only wants to come in and get that thing specifically, you should talk about that with him. In my years of chatting, the reason I say bring the fantasy to life is because the way chatters do this will make or break your account. So if they're bringing the fantasy to life by chasing the subscriber and acting overly sexual, that's not the way you want to do it. But if the fantasy is him wanting to do something with you and you make it seem like, this is a huge moment for me that I never really do, even though you might do it every night or every day, you want to make the fantasy like, oh, I have a friend in the other room. I don't want him to hear us, or I'm not home yet. I want to. If they ask for a picture, you say like, I'm not home yet. Maybe wait for me. Any fantasy in his head that can make this seem realistic. So you build rapport, make him know that it's you. Transition and funnel when ready. Push and pull and see if he's enjoying the experience. So if you're sending stuff and he's really not happy, you need to switch things up. So let's start with here. Real relationships Real relationships don't start with the sex tape, even if they ask. So that's like some random guy on the street asking like, hey, you know, can we go have sex? Or, hey, can I watch you have sex with your boyfriend right now? You're walking down the street, like, who are you and what and why? So that's a little confusing, especially to see that off the bat with some people. Like, I understand chatters want to take the money that's on the table, but that's very risky, starting from the best stuff and then trying to sell anything under that. If that guy got what he wanted, then you lose respect. He won the game. There's not much else to play in the game. Maybe he could see a few more similar style content in the same level, but that's all you got to sell him now. If you give it to him on your own terms, then you're winning. So we know he wants the sex tape. So if we start with something small and then he's almost about to tap out and then you mention the sex tape, chances are instead of making $100 from that video, you made $300, $400, and then that video. Building rapport where they would take you on the first date. This just means, this is just a message to send to them to get a vibe on how much they can afford. So if they're like, oh, I'll make you something at home, bruh. If they're like, oh, I'll take you to McDonald's, bruh. If they're like, oh, I'll take you to a nice restaurant, you know, I'll fly you out here, blah, blah, blah. Boom, they have money. How much they can afford. The reality is you DM a girl and they're either at the mall or at home. So building rapport before the transition funnel is staging. So this should be over here. When you could tell you can send that teaser, start getting into selling your content, you want to stage where you are so the content you sell is more realistic. You find a set, start with the tease in real time, mirror transition into the full set or nudity level that they can do. And is he asking for nudity? How would the girl respond in real life? So if they do have the content, then chances are, you know, you're probably going to have your chatters sell that. So if the model would say no in real life, it just means make it very hard for him to get to that level without, you know, spending money, or at least a lot of money. You usually want to make sure you and your model have a proper price range for the exclusivity that she has, so that you know how to go about selling that stuff and for what price, and so that if she were to look at the conversation, she would feel comfortable with them selling that. In my next video, I will probably go over how to sell certain funnels. I'll give a glimpse, but basically you pick your set, you stage it, and then if you pick shower, for example, you send a teaser pic, maybe fully clothed, about to get in the shower, you know, ask him, can you undress me so we can get wet together, or just like, you know, press play to begin. And then after he opens that, if he likes it or he doesn't, right here, he'll probably tell you, no, I want this, or no, I want that. So thank you for watching. Pretty much for the next video, we're gonna go through a little more nitty gritty chatting with actual funnel content, and a few other key metrics for your chatter to remember when chatting. Thank you guys. I will see you in the next video.